You're talking about how if you genuinely love that person, if you care about them, rather than the fact that they keep the Sabbath, for example, rather than the fact that they go to a specific church, for example, because if that person, for example, is going through a transition, going through
Oh,
a journey.
I remember my point now, and I think it's going to answer you more detail what you're asking me. So when you love somebody, yeah, and that's why I mentioned sacrifice. When you love somebody, it becomes very easy to endure sacrifice. Obviously, sacrifice by definition is difficult, but it's a lot easier when there's love, when there's natural love there. And when you love somebody, you begin thinking, what do I do to minimize friction, to increase bonding, increase happiness? What can I do? What part can I play? What do I know that my my wife or my husband likes or that they enjoy that I can do to put a smile on their face? You begin looking for ways to please and to provide happiness. And it's reciprocal. And if you're doing it in a selfless kind of way, then you're covering them and they're covering you. And that can carry you a long, 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 long way. So when I gave my example about, the change of day of maybe you want to worship on this day, I worship on this day, that's more like worst case scenario because generally speaking, you're doing everything you can to be on the same page, do things together, and that you sacrifice a little bit of your comfort to do that. I'm speaking about cases where that sort of like runs out for whatever reason, that expires for whatever reason. In those other cases, it doesn't mean it's a recipe for divorce immediately. It just means that, okay, they're going through a journey. How do we realign and come back on par if we can? And there's a lot of room before you have to think about a divorce option, is what I'm saying. So I think that when you've got the natural love and desire, that creates the opportunity to do more for each other, and to deliberately do the things that are going to build and bond as opposed to break apart and tear down.